So I'd love some advice from the gay folks that are here, maybe from your experience. So something I'm trying to understand and sort of wrap my head around these days is sort of age gaps and dating. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what I mean by that. So I'm 36, I'm a millennial, and I found that I've made connections with guys on Twitter who seem to be very, very interested in me, who are usually between like 22 and 27. And it's given me a lot of hesitation, and I'll share why. So for me, I grew up in the Craigslist generation, right? Like I had my fair share of time of being attracted to men who were over 35/40 when I was in my kind of like very, very young 20s. And there was a major power dynamic that was different. And I don't really want to recreate those things. Also, none of those men ever considered me for dating. So now that I've connected with younger guys on Twitter, because my dating apps have a minimum of 30, it's been really interesting that so many of them seem to be exclusively into older men, again, similar to how I was. But then it makes me just wonder on this other side of it, like, what do older men actually see in these younger guys that's healthy? So with these younger guys, they're oftentimes like highly educated, highly independent, and a bit like me. So this isn't like all younger guys. I'm talking like a very specific subset. Um, and so I chat with them. Most of them don't live sort of near me. So it sort of feels somewhere between a friendship or a mentorship. But they are pretty consistent in their communicating and are even better at communicating than guys my own age. So it's this dynamic that's unclear. It seems like there's romantic underpinnings, but kind of feels like mentorship because I'm actively encouraging them to pursue other men. But I was talking to one of them recently about my concern with dating guys from a different life stage from me and like trying to build a life with somebody who's at least 10 years younger than me. So like, let's just say 26, and how I worry about stealing someone's youth. And that for me I need to know that they're ready. And I just don't know if at that age, you know, when you're ready, if you're actually ready, because it took me a while. Like even when I hit 30, I thought that I was ready and I really wasn't as ready as I thought I was at 30. So I'm thinking even more now about 26 and 22. So I'm at times torn between like, I feel like some of these younger guys are very exciting because they are so body positive. Their values seem to be aligned with mine, and that they're much more progressive and open and feel seemingly like less mired by some of the things that hold back gay men of older generations. And you know, one of them said, well, if we dated for 5 years and I left you, that wouldn't be much different than somebody your own age doing it. But in my head, it feels like that's different. And so, some of the questions that I'm really trying to understand, and I ask this because I'm really trying to understand, like, I don't want to do the whole, like, what age gap is appropriate. That's not really what I'm talking about. What I'm trying to understand is how do you navigate understanding if this person, if you do have an age gap between you, is in the same life stage as you? That's the first question. The second question is probably, how do you think about the fear of being that far apart in age that younger person may be waking up one day and realizing things again? People of your same age can do the same thing, but coming back to the market is just so different when you're different ages, right? Like starting over at 36 is definitely different from starting over at 46. I think my third question is, maybe do you ever know? Because I'm so I'm seeing people who remind me of younger versions of myself and sort of being financially independent and like being like smart and ambitious and things like that. And part of me thinks this could work. But at the same time, I remember how I was mature for my age and some of these like hallmarks that I just described, but mentally and emotionally, I really wasn't more than just 22, 24, 26. And when I'm at age 36, what I want is an emotionally mature partner. And so it's interesting because it feels almost like every month there's like a new young guy who's like, I like you so much, it's so great, and give me a shot, give me a chance. And I'm always just like, no, no, no. And I just wonder if, not that I'm blocking my blessing because I just don't think that I am, but something just makes me wonder. I know that there are people who navigate significant age gaps. So let's just keep it at 10 years just to be safe. How do you think about that if you're in one of those kinds of relationships? And the other thing is, like, straight people's dynamics are very, very different, right? Like, I think for a lot of them, when they're navigating these age gaps, usually men and women do mature obviously differently, or at different rates in different times. But I think the dynamic is usually woman gets pregnant or starts family, has kids, and man realizes that it's too hard to start over because the woman is providing so much emotional labor that it actually benefits him to just stick around. Whereas if you're two people of the same sex, you just don't have typically those same dynamics that sort of keep you locked in. And so that is why I think that this is different for gay people versus from straight people.